like to welcome you to another Q&A. It's a blessing to be with you. In the past, we've been asked whether Halloween is a day that believers should be observing, or the answer is emphatically no. Halloween is not a day found in the Bible, but in pagan tradition. The belief of Halloween goes back to the ancient Celts and Druids. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, quote, in ancient Britain and Ireland, the Celtic festival of Samhain was observed on October 31st, at the end of summer. The souls of the dead were supposed to revisit their homes on this day, and the autumnal festival acquired sinister significance, with ghosts, witches, goblins, black cats, fairies, and demons of all kinds said to be roaming about. It was a time to placate the supernatural powers controlling the processes of nature. In addition, Halloween was thought to be the most favorable time for divinations concerning marriage, luck, health, and death. It was the only day on which the help of the devil was invoked for such purposes. From this reference and many others like it, we find here the true nature of Halloween. This day has deep roots into paganism, and not paganism only, but with the worst kind. It was on this day that the line between the living and the dead was the most blurred. It was for this reason that people would dress in ghoulish costumes, as we see today, to deceive the evil spirits and demons that roamed among the living. As we read from the Encyclopedia Britannica, this day is connected with all kinds of abominable things, including ghosts, witches, goblins, and demons, along with demonic activity. Now, what connection does Halloween have with Christianity? Our Pope Gregory IV in the 9th century declared November 1st as All Saints' Day. It was also known as All Hallows or Hallowmass. It was a day set aside to remember the saints, both the known and unknown. Now, what was a real reason, though, for adopting this day? It was to meld paganism with church tradition. You see, the Roman Church has a long history with what's known as syncretism, that is, a blending of different beliefs. Most often, this blending was to attract additional converts to the church, including pagans or those of other religions. So instead of standing on the truth of Scripture, the early church compromised for the sake of numbers and converts. Now, as believers, what are we to do with Halloween? We're to abstain from keeping it. We're not to keep it. Clearly, this is not a day that our Father Yahweh established or would approve of. It's a day that contains deep roots to paganism and to the worst kind again. The Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians 6, verse 14 says this. He says, be you not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness, and what concord has Messiah with Belial, or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of Elohim with idols? For you are the temple of the living Elohim. Paul also says this in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 20. He says, but I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to Elohim. And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils. Listen, it says, you cannot drink the cup of the master and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the master's table and of the table of devils. So what lesson do we learn from these passages? As believers, we must make a separation. We must show a distinction between truth and error and good and evil. The fact is, there is nothing good or holy about Halloween. So let us, as believers, show example by abstaining from the keeping of this day. This includes not allowing our children to participate on this day. If we compromise for our children, listen, we are doing them no favors. They are better off knowing and living the truth versus living a lie, and more importantly, dishonoring the one they worship. Well, I pray that this Q&A has been a blessing to you. As always, we would encourage you to prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. Until next time, may Yahweh bless you. Bye-bye.